Welcome back, football fans. Today, we're diving deep into one of the biggest reasons why the Dallas Cowboys offense looks sharper, smarter, and more dangerous than it did last season. We're talking about the play-action game, a part of this offense that has taken a massive leap forward under offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. It's night and day compared to what we saw before. Last year, the Cowboys' play-action looked predictable. Defenses could practically call out the plays before the snap. It was either a short rollout dump-off to Jake Ferguson, or a forced deep shot to Jalen Tolbert or Cavonte Turpin that rarely connected. Nothing about it felt creative or in sync with the ground attack. But this year? Everything's different. The run game and the play-action finally work hand in hand, the way great offenses do. That balance is creating real confusion for defenses and putting Dak Prescott in position to attack all levels of the field. Oh, and before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. And of course, hit that bell icon so you never miss an update on your favorite team. Now, back to business. Personnel upgrades have made a huge difference. The addition of George Pickens has opened up the passing game, and the offensive rhythm under Schottenheimer just feels more natural. The game scripts also matter. The Cowboys have stayed ahead more often this year, which keeps the playbook wide open. And don't overlook the foundation. The improved run game, led by Javonte Williams and guided by offensive line coach Clayton Adams, is forcing defenses to respect the threat of the run. That respect is what makes play-action deadly. Everything ties together beautifully, from smarter play design to improved execution. If you haven't seen our full breakdown on how the revamped run game is powering this transformation, make sure to check that out next. Now, let's talk numbers, because what the Cowboys' play-action offense is doing this season is nothing short of impressive. According to NFL Next Gen stats, Dak Prescott is putting up elite-level production when operating off play-action. He leads the entire league in completions with 46, ranks second in attempts, second in completion percentage, and second in completion percentage over expected, which means he's not just completing routine passes, he's outperforming what defenses expect on every down. He's third in total yards, tied for first in touchdowns, and hasn't thrown a single interception through play action this year. Prescott also ranks 8th in yards per attempt, 4th in total expected points added, and 7th in EPA per play, advanced stats that show just how effective this system truly is. To put it in perspective, Prescott's total EPA on play action sits around plus 19.8 this year. Over the previous 3 seasons combined, that number was just plus 8.9. That's more than double the production, proof that this offense has found something special. The biggest reason behind this turnaround? Balance and deception. The Cowboys have finally married their run game and passing concepts so that every snap keeps defenses guessing. When the ground game and the play-action game mirror each other perfectly, linebackers hesitate, safeties bite, and windows open up for Dak to exploit. That's what's happening in Dallas right now, a system that finally feels complete. One of the biggest changes in Dallas this season comes down to versatility and disguise. In previous years, the Cowboys' offense became predictable. When they lined up under center, it almost always meant a run. When they were in shotgun, it was almost always a pass. Defenses picked up on those tendencies quickly, and it killed any element of surprise. This year, that's changed. The Cowboys are finally mixing up their looks, running play action from both shotgun and under center formations, and building a diverse set of offensive packages that keeps opponents guessing. That unpredictability is exactly what makes this offense harder to defend. Even Brian Schottenheimer himself spoke about this shift, explaining that the Cowboys have worked tirelessly to make their run game and pass game look nearly identical before the snap. When a defense can't tell if it's a handoff or a deep strike, they hesitate, and that split-second hesitation is all Dak Prescott needs to make them pay. It's the small details, the subtle footwork, the motion disguises, the alignment variety, that are transforming this play-action game from something ordinary into one of the most efficient systems in the league. The Cowboys aren't just running plays anymore, they're setting traps. Now, here's where things get fascinating, because Brian Schottenheimer recently broke down exactly what it means to marry the run and the pass, and it's a masterclass in offensive design. He explained that when your offense has no tells, no giveaways, and no obvious tendencies, defenses can't predict what's coming. It's all about keeping them off balance. In his words, it's about eliminating the patterns, making sure that lining up in shotgun doesn't automatically scream pass, and that lining up under center doesn't always mean run. If a formation says run 85% of the time, then the Cowboys are creating play action looks off that same formation, forcing defenses to second-guess every instinct. Schottenheimer pointed out how much technology and analytics are now involved in this chess match. Teams have entire staffs dedicated to studying tendencies, coaches and analysts who track every detail, from formations to motion timing. And when you break those tendencies early in games, it sends a powerful message: you can't predict us anymore. He even referenced legendary linebacker Luke Kuechly, known for reading offenses like an open book. Back in his playing days, Kuechly could diagnose plays before they even happened. That's the level of awareness Schottenheimer's offense is trying to defeat, by breaking every old pattern that used to give the Cowboys away. That's the evolution we're seeing now in Dallas, an offense built not just on power, but on intelligence, deception, and adaptability. One of the smartest things Brian Schottenheimer mentioned was how studying tendencies, both yours and your opponent's, can become a weapon. If you ignore those patterns, you're playing right into the defense's hands. But if you understand them, you can flip the script and use them to your advantage. That's exactly what Dallas has done. The Cowboys aren't just running more play action, they're running it smarter. Every play action concept now connects directly with their core passing schemes. Everything looks the same, until it's not. In the past, the offense sometimes felt disjointed. The run plays and the pass plays didn't complement each other, almost like they were pulled from two different playbooks. But this year, it's finally cohesive. The personnel packages, the formations, and the motion all work in harmony to keep defenses guessing. Here's the proof: the Cowboys rank 10th in the NFL in play-action rate at 28.2%. That's a massive improvement from last year, when they ranked 31st. They now sit among teams like the Colts, Lions, Packers, Broncos, Chiefs, Seahawks, Rams, and Bears, franchises known for creative, modern offensive designs. And when you look at those names, a pattern emerges: they all feature some of the brightest play callers in football, from the Shanahan tree to Sean McVay's system. Play action is supposed to make life easier for your quarterback, and this year, that's exactly what it's doing for Dak Prescott. Against the New York Jets, Dallas scored 4 touchdowns off play action, a perfect example of how the system has evolved. Last year, this part of the playbook felt lifeless. Now, it's a weapon, dangerous, dynamic, and perfectly suited for Prescott's strengths. From a design standpoint, the Cowboys' play-action calls this season have been flat-out brilliant. One perfect example was that tight end screen to Jake Ferguson, a masterclass in deception. The play started under center, featured pre-snap motion from Ryan Finley, a fake handoff to Javonte Williams, and then a perfectly timed release to Ferguson for an easy touchdown. It was pure creativity, the kind of layered misdirection that freezes linebackers and manipulates safeties. That's how you weaponize play action. Now, let's talk about how Dallas is balancing their formations. In 2024, the Cowboys lined up in shotgun on about 69% of their snaps, passing out of it roughly 75% of the time. When they lined up under center, it was around 28%, and they ran the ball on about 72% of those plays. Those splits aren't unusual in today's NFL, but they tell a story. Last season, that predictability limited the offense, but in 2025, things are shifting. The Cowboys are increasing their under-center usage and mixing in more under-center passes, which keeps defenses honest. Meanwhile, shotgun usage is slightly down, but shotgun pass efficiency is up, a sign that Schottenheimer is adapting the scheme week by week. Recent matchups against the Eagles, Giants, and Bears showed a clear trend. Dallas is building more variety into its offense. By blending under-center play action with shotgun misdirection, they're making the entire field dangerous again. This isn't the same Cowboys offense we saw last year. It's a system built on rhythm, deception, and trust. Game situations always play a role, of course, but even when accounting for that, the Cowboys' use of under-center play action has jumped dramatically. Against the Packers and Jets, Dallas ran play action from under center on roughly 43% to 52% of their snaps. That's a massive leap from where they were a year ago. And when you look around the league, it's clear they're following a proven formula. The teams leading the NFL in under center play action include the Rams, Lions, Seahawks, Bills, Bears, 49ers, Vikings, Patriots, Jaguars, and Texans. Notice something? Most of them trace back to either the Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan coaching trees, two of the most innovative offensive systems in modern football. What we're seeing is the NFL coming full circle. The league is shifting back toward a style of offense that blends old-school structure with modern creativity. The Rams, for example, have returned to their roots, running more under-center looks and leaning heavily on play action, just like they did during the early Jared Goff era before the deep-shot Matthew Stafford transition. Another fascinating element making a quiet comeback is the traditional under-center dropback, pure 5 or 7-step drops with no play action, no shotgun setup, just classic pocket passing. Hardly any teams use it anymore, but the Cowboys do, and they're top 5 in the NFL in that category this year, alongside the 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, and Packers. And guess what all those teams have in common? They're all influenced by that Shanahan-McVay system, a philosophy built on motion, deception, and discipline. Under Brian Schottenheimer, the Cowboys are finally bringing some of those same concepts to Dallas. It's creative football, it's efficient football, and most importantly, it's working. The Cowboys' offense is starting to look like what fans have been asking for, a balanced, unpredictable, and modern attack built for championship-level football. The NFL has always been a game of cycles. What's old eventually becomes new again. For a few years, defenses across the league started leaning heavily into too high safety shells, forcing quarterbacks to throw underneath and challenging offenses to stay patient. So, how do you beat that? Simple, run the football right at them. Then, as defenses adjust back to more single high or cover 3 looks, think of that old Seahawks Legion of Boom style, the counterpunch becomes vertical shots over the top. It's the constant ebb and flow that defines professional football. That's why the Cowboys' recent offensive evolution is so important. They're leaning back into a diverse, physical run game, not just pounding inside zone up the middle, but mixing in more under-center formations, play-action passes, and varied rushing concepts. It's eerily similar to what we've seen from the Shanahan and McVay coaching trees, systems that balance efficiency with creativity, discipline with deception. And for once, it feels like Dallas might finally be on the curve, not behind it. If Brian Schottenheimer and this offensive staff can keep blending old-school fundamentals with new-age design, these adjustments could pay massive dividends, turning the Cowboys' offense into one of the most balanced and unpredictable units in football.